They gave me a suitcase for my birthday. Not a trip. Not a cozy family dinner. A suitcase. Then my dad said, "Pack tonight and be gone by morning." I stood there, hands still on the ribbon, too stunned to move. My mom watched with a calm look, as if it was already decided. My little sister giggled, and that hurt more than anything. It was so easy for them. Earlier that day, I bought a small chocolate cake at the grocery store, just enough to pretend we still cared about birthdays. I set it on the table when I got home. No one even noticed. Now, at dinner, they handed me a gift box that wasn't a gift at all but an eviction notice wrapped in pretty paper. They didn't shout. They didn't explain. And I didn't argue. I just said, "Okay." I still didn't see it clearly. This wasn't about money or space or attitude. It was colder than that. They had stopped thinking of me as family long before they asked me to leave, and I was the last to know. 2 years earlier, I had my own small apartment, a one-bedroom above a nail salon near the bus line. The walls were thin, the carpet was old, and the hot water was hit or miss. But it was mine. I paid rent on time, packed my lunches, reused coffee filters, bought second-hand clothes. My old Honda Civic was held together with prayer and duct tape, but it got me to work every day. I was building a life, one careful choice at a time. I dreamed of buying a little house someday, a place with a sunny kitchen window and a lock that only I had the key to. That dream made me say no to dinners out and delete things from my online cart. My sister Lily lived on a different planet, 6 years younger and already drowning in designer bags and vacation photos. Every Sunday dinner, she'd show off a new Gucci tote or tease my old sweater from 2018. Mom never said anything, but sometimes she smiled, sometimes she sighed, as if she felt the gap between us. I thought if I kept showing up, kept helping, someone would finally say, "We see you. We're proud of you." That moment never came. Then came that Sunday with pot roast in the oven. Dad got that tense look he always had before bad news. "We need to talk," he said without looking up. Mom folded her napkin tight. "Your father lost his job, our whole department was cut." I told them I was sorry and meant it, but I felt the air change. "There's the mortgage, utilities, Lily's tuition," Mom said. Then they looked at me. "Would you consider moving back home?" my mother asked. "Just for a little while, to help us." I hesitated. A voice inside whispered, "If you go back, you may never leave again." But I wanted to help, so I gave notice on my lease, stored my furniture, and returned to the pale blue bedroom I'd painted in 10th grade. Now it was barely mine. Lily had turned it into her walk-in closet. They'd cleared a spot for my twin bed, but her dresses hung everywhere like wallpaper. That first night back, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to believe Dad when he said, "Just until I get back on my feet." I reminded myself family means sticking together. I set up a monthly transfer of $1,800 to help with bills. I never asked where it went. It vanished fast, and I never heard thanks. At first, things were okay. Mom made my favorite chicken pot pie. Dad called me his rock. Lily even asked how work was once. But gratitude fades. By month 3, Dad had a new job, lower pay, longer commute, but I waited for them to say, "You've done enough. Find your own place again." They never did. Instead, Mom said, "Your father's salary isn't enough yet. Just a little while longer, sweetheart." I nodded, biting back the question, "How much longer? How much of me do you need?" Slowly, things changed. My baths became too much. My seat at the table felt tense. Lasagna nights turned into stir-fry, then quinoa bowls, then whatever Lily wanted. Then the groceries started including snack packs, just for Lily, and I realized I was no longer part of the family home I'd helped save. Nothing of mine lasted long. My shampoo disappeared before I could buy more. Dad kept asking me for gas money. Mom needed just $100 for her hair because her card was acting up. I never saw that money again. And Lily, sweet, helpless Lily, always arrived with something new. A smartwatch, fancy shoes I couldn't afford on my salary, makeup in glass jars with gold lids. One day I asked, "Where's this money coming from?" I wasn't angry, just confused. She rolled her eyes. Mind your business. Just because you live like a pauper doesn't mean the rest of us have to. I should have pushed back, but I still believed that if I kept giving, they'd remember who I was. Instead, I started to fade away, quietly, like footprints in falling snow. It all came to a head on a Friday. I got home late after a brutal week. All I wanted was a hot bath, my book, and silence. Instead, Lily met me at the stairs. I need $700, she said, bouncing, for my beach trip next weekend. Everyone else already paid. I just need your part. I stared at her. My part? She huffed. You know what I mean. Something inside me snapped. I give $1,800 every month to this house. I drive a 10-year-old car. I wear shoes with holes. You want me to pay for your beach trip? Lily's smile vanished. Why are you so dramatic? It's just money. I laughed bitterly. No, Lily, it's work. It's sacrifice. It's why you get to live like a princess while I live like a ghost. You don't have to make it sound like charity, she snapped. I'm not, I said. I'm telling the truth. Maybe if you got a job, you'd know what money really means. Lily burst into loud, fake sobs. Mom and Dad appeared instantly. What's going on? Mom demanded, hugging Lily. She called me lazy, Lily wailed. Dad turned to me, jaw tight. Is that true? I said. She wanted me to pay for her vacation. I said no. Mom asked coldly, and you told her to get a job? That's the truth. Dad snapped. That's not your place. I stared at them. Your house runs on my paycheck. I've earned the right to speak. And then Mom hissed the words I'll never forget. Every time we ask you for something, you throw your money in our faces. I looked at their angry faces and Lily's smug tears. In that moment, I knew they didn't love me. They only put up with me while I was useful. I walked away without a word, shut my door, and sat on the twin bed I'd painted in 10th grade. I didn't cry. I just saw everything clearly. The next day was my 27th birthday. No card, no greeting. No one noticed when I left for work. That evening, I bought a small chocolate cake for myself, cheap plastic letters curling at the edges, and walked home. The dining table was set. They were all there, dressed up. A big, bow-wrapped box waited in the center. Mom smiled. The birthday girl. Dad pushed the box toward me. Your gift. I opened it slowly. Inside, a brand new suitcase. Sleek, expensive, too clean. Are we going somewhere? I asked. They laughed, not kindly, not cruelly, like I was the last to get the joke. You are, Dad said. Mom leaned forward. Pack your things. You're leaving tomorrow. I didn't say anything. I watched them laugh downstairs later that night, probably eating the cake I bought myself. I lay in my old twin bed, staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks like a prayer. At sunrise, I packed the suitcase with what was still mine, a few work files, my second-hand laptop, and a photo of me at 18, holding my first paycheck, smiling like hard work was enough. They were still asleep when I called an Uber. I didn't leave a note. I just walked out and gently closed the door. I stayed in a hostel that week, bunk beds, shared bathrooms, a hallway that smelled like Lysol and burnt toast, but I could finally breathe. 2 nights later, I texted Carol. She was my coworker in her late 50s, sharp-tongued, soft-hearted, always called me kid and kept hard candy in her desk drawer. She didn't ask questions. She just said, "Come by. I've got coffee and a couch." At her apartment, I cried for the first time, quiet tears, slow and clean, like a faucet finally unstuck. Carol poured me coffee, handed me a blanket, and said, "You don't owe them your life just because they gave you one." A week later, I moved into a tiny studio apartment, peeling linoleum, but the lease was in my name. The keys jingled in my hand like proof I still existed. I bought everything secondhand, a mattress, a desk, a single lamp with a crooked shade. Each item felt like reclaiming my life. No one screamed through the walls. No one knocked unless it mattered. And no one told me I took up too much space. I finally felt at home. I made my first cup of tea and drank it while standing barefoot on the cold kitchen floor. I smiled. It felt like the best thing I'd tasted in a long time. 6 months went by. No texts. No emails. Not even a late birthday card pretending they forgot. And honestly, I didn't miss them. I worked extra hours, took on more projects, and slowly rebuilt the savings they had drained for 2 years. Without $1,800 disappearing each month, my balance grew quickly. I didn't spend on anything fancy. I packed my lunches, washed my own dishes. But now, I chose that life. No one forced me anymore. And that made all the difference. Then one afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. I wish I had. "Hello, Anna. It's Mom." I froze. Her voice had that sweet, fake tone she used whenever she wanted something. "We need to talk," she said. "Can you come to the house?" "No," I replied. "Say what you need now." She sighed. "Your father lost his job again. The company laid off more people. We're falling behind on bills. The bank is talking about foreclosure. We need help, just for a little while, like before." I laughed. I couldn't help it. The nerve of her. "You kicked me out," I said, "on my birthday, after using my money for months and lying about it." "We were under a lot of pressure," she said quickly. "You know how your dad is. He didn't mean it." "No," I said. "I'm not coming back. Not now. Not ever." "You're our daughter," she snapped. "You should have remembered that before treating me like an ATM with a birth certificate." I hung up. The calls kept coming. New numbers. Desperate texts. Even a voicemail from Lily. "I miss you. We need you." Then I got an email from a real lawyer. I checked. It said, "Our clients are requesting $24,000 for unpaid room and board over 2 years, at $1,000 a month." I almost laughed again. But this time, I did something about it. I called James. He didn't waste time. That same day, he wrote a letter outlining the $43,200 I had sent over 24 months, with proof from my bank. He added that I had lived in a half-converted closet, paid every bill, and was kicked out with no notice. The final line said, "If your clients push this further, we're ready to counterclaim for the full $43,200, plus legal fees and emotional distress." 3 days later, their lawyer sent one sentence. "My clients have chosen not to proceed at this time." I thought that was it. But 2 weeks later, I went to my bank to set up a savings plan and saw them. My mother and Lily, sitting with a loan officer. They were dressed nicely. Lily wore a designer blazer. Mom wore pearls. They were leaning in close, talking fast. "We're trying to refinance," Mom said. "There's no one else we can ask." The banker asked, "No family support at all?" She shook her head. "Just us." I stepped forward. "Actually," I said, placing a folder on the desk, "they had help. $1,800 a month for 2 years. I have the records." Lily went pale. Mom stiffened. The banker stared at them, then at me. "I'm Anna," I said, "the daughter, the one they forgot to mention." The room went silent. Mom didn't say a word. Lily jumped up from her seat. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I just left the documents, nodded to the banker, and walked out. As I reached the door, I heard the banker say, "We'll need to update your file." Outside, the sunlight was warm, and for the first time, I really felt free. That was the last time I saw them. No more calls. No more emails. Just silence, the peaceful kind. 1 year later, I bought my first home. Not fancy, but mine. A small townhouse with uneven stairs and weeds in the driveway. It was perfect. The keys felt heavy in my hand, not just metal, but meaning. This time, Only my name was on the deed. No one else. No strings. No one pushing me through the door pretending it was a gift. I called Carol. She came with coffee and lemon muffins. She looked around my tiny kitchen and said, "It's not fancy, but it's yours." "That's the difference," I said. "It really is." Work got better too. James sent me a new client. I picked up a few side jobs. I wasn't rich, but I wasn't scared anymore. For once, I wasn't just trying to survive. I was building something. Sometimes, relatives bring up my parents. They say Lily might lose her tuition, that the house might go into foreclosure. I don't respond. Not because I'm angry, just because I've moved on. Like hearing news about strangers. I don't hate them. I just don't belong to them anymore. I stopped believing that family means ownership. Now when I walk through my front door, I don't flinch. No shouting. No tension. The quiet here is mine. And it's kind. Sometimes, I think about my suitcase. It's still in my closet. Not as a reminder of being kicked out, but of the moment I chose to leave. I thought I lost everything that day. But what I really lost was the lie, that I was ever loved just for being me. And in its place, I found something better. A home. A boundary. A voice. And finally, a life that's truly mine. Sometimes I wonder what they tell people. Maybe they say I moved away. That we drifted apart. Maybe they still eat dinner like nothing's missing. Maybe Mom sighs and says, "It was easier when Anna helped." But never says why I'm gone. And that's fine. I don't need an apology. Because I never vanished. I paid the bills. I kept the lights on. I was there, month after month, while they ignored me. Now, I don't say their names. But I leave proof behind. The suitcase. The saved emails. The house I paid for. So if someone ever asks what happened to the older daughter, the quiet, reliable one, they'll have to decide. Keep lying. Or finally admit, they pushed away the only one who ever truly cared. Because I didn't disappear. They erased me. And now? I live far beyond their reach, where they can't touch me anymore.